our able chair at the budget committee on how he presided over the supplementary budget, and even in his presentation, he brought out the issues that I do not want to belabor them, especially the state of the economy of the country, and without even playing any politics, because this country is bigger than all of us, Mr. Speaker. I want to touch on two areas that have not been touched on, Mr. Speaker. As a committee, we ensured that our counties are also given money, and it is important that our counties, Mr. Speaker, do receive money, because once they do not have money, it impedes operations and service delivery in our counties, which also hinders development in our counties, Mr. Speaker. Staff go unpaid, and pending bills continue to increase, Mr. Speaker. And this is a constitutional matter where our counties need to get money on time. And there is also an issue of equalization fund, Mr. Speaker, which we took the Treasury to task so that they can pay the arrears that are there on equalization fund, Mr. Speaker. If this money was given to the counties that deserve to have equalization fund, Mr. Speaker, some of the issues that we've been deliberating on in this House would have been taken care of to take care of the historical injustices in these counties, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, allow me to just say two things. One, on the drought. Drought cannot only be used as an excuse on why the economy is performing poorly, but by ensuring that the people who are affected by drought get food and get food in time, Mr. Speaker. It is important to note that there are some counties in this country, Mr. Speaker, which have not received a drop of rainfall for the last 3 years, Mr. Speaker. You can imagine their animals are dead, the livestock, and they do not have food to put on their tables. And we know that a hungry nation will not be wealthy and will also not be healthy, Mr. Speaker. And so I call on the ministries that are in charge of food distribution to make sure that once we appropriate these monies, and they do get money in their ministry, Mr. Speaker, that the food gets to the people that truly deserve and on time. Finally, Mr. Speaker, I want to speak on the issue of the money that was given, about 400 million, for the security operations in the North Rift, Mr. Speaker. It is important that we ensure as a country that our people are secure, that our people are able to live their lives and to continue with their normal livelihoods, Mr. Speaker, in peace. On issues of arrears of CDF, there are many of us in our constituencies who have stalled projects, and we know that once the monies are not wired to our constituencies, Mr. Speaker, we do not get value for money. And in that, I would like to support the supplementary budget, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
The Honorable Atandi, MP for Kasibul Kabondo. Is it? No, it's Alega Usonga. Proceed. And also do exactly what your friends also did. Take as few minutes as possible.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. I'll be very brief. And to note that I'm the MP for Lego Usonga. Honourable Speaker, I want to say that I rise to support the report of the supplementary estimates as presented by our chairman. Honourable Speaker, I've been in this House for the last term, and this is my second term, and Chair, Honourable Speaker, I want to say that the chairman of the budget committee, the Honourable Ndindi Nyoro, is a very competent man, and I like the way he went through the process of doing this report. And to say that the budget committee has given prominence to reports from departmental committees, and the reports that were given to us by the committees were adopted as they were. And I think this is because of the leadership of the chair. Honourable Speaker, I know that many people have spoken about Article 223, but Honourable Speaker, the Constitution gives us an outline of how expenditures are supposed to be incurred. And we have an office, the Office of the Controller of Budget, which is a sleeping office, and this Parliament must find a way of strengthening that office. Honourable Speaker, when we were going through this budget, the Controller of Budget told us that some of the payments she approved when a gun was put on her head. And Honourable Speaker, I want to disagree with her, and I want to say, Honourable Speaker, that the the person sitting in that office appears incompetent and something needs to be done. Secondly, Honorable Speaker, people are talking about the rising cost of living. And the rising cost of living is something which we discussed during campaigns. Honorable Speaker, you are a part of us in Azimio, and we promise that when we take over power, we will reduce the cost of living. And the other side also, the team that is running government, they also promise that they will be able to reduce the cost of living. But, Honorable Speaker, we seem not to know how to do this. And if you look at this budget, Honorable Speaker, we are living in a time bomb. Because if we will not be able as a house to help poor Kenyans afford meals, then, Honorable Speaker, there will be no need for us to sit here writing a budget. Honorable Speaker, in this budget, you agree that there is no subsidies on fuel, there is no subsidies on unga, and this is a tragedy, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I belong to Azimio and I've been touring this country. I have gone to many parts of this country, Honorable Speaker, and I want to advise government that if they do not do something on subsidies, on fuel and on unga, they allow themselves to blame if things go out of hand. Because, Honorable Speaker, you know very well that because of rising cost of fuel and because of crisis in Russia and Ukraine, distribution channels of foods is affected. And a serious government must find a way of cautioning citizens. This is not happening, Honorable Speaker. And this is something which I want to emphasize, that the government must look at it and find a way of reducing the cost of unga. You know, Honorable Speaker, that there is no maize in the country right now. And I know that cartels are looking into how they are going to import maize. Most of the time, Honorable Speaker, they will import GMO maize. And that is what is going to come into this country. Kenyans, I want to advise you, you need to get ready for GMO maize because that is the only thing that is there. But because the government is not doing any intervention on subsidies on unga, we are going to have GMO maize here in this country very soon. Thirdly, Honorable Speaker, the question of wastages. Honorable Speaker, I know that the majority leader is talking about, government which is keen on cutting on wastages. But if you look at this budget, Honorable Speaker, there are a number of areas where wastages are still being seen. And I want to urge government that they should be very tight, they should speak, they should do what they speak. If they say that they want to contain recurrent expenditure, we expect the budgets to resemble that commitment, because the recurrent expenditure continues to go up in offices. There is a lot of budgets for tea, for traveling, for hosting prayers. These are things that are necessary, Honorable Speaker. And if you look at the budgets increase in State House and other departments of government, these budgets are going up, and these are things that we need to contain. Honorable Speaker, lastly, on usage of Article 223, Honorable Speaker, this is something which is going to happen. And I can see most MPs are saying we don't need it. In last parliament, every budget cycle we used to complain about abuse of Article 223, but it continued to be abused. I want to caution that if the commitment from majority leader is that this article should not be abused, next budget let us not see any expenditure that has been used under Article 223 which cannot be explained. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I support.
The Honorable Osoro, followed by the Honorable KJ. And my presumption is, Honorable Osoro, you will also be the gentleman I think you are. And take as few minutes as possible to give more time to more people. Proceed.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I also want to rise to support this motion and the report by the Budget Committee, and by extension congratulate Honorable Ndindi Nyoro for an exemplary work alongside with this committee. Honorable Speaker, three things. Number one, the committee appreciates